Caleb Nelson from Resto Gear, back for another Changli video. Man, we love these things. These things are crazy. We love them so much, we bought a full container of the new ones. This is the brand new 2021 Changli from Alibaba, right from the Changli factory in China. And man, are they completely different vehicles. You don't totally notice them unless you have them side by side, and there are some stark differences between them. I'll walk you through a couple of differences, both inside out and whatnot, but at first glance, the original OG Changli is substantially taller. If you look at it from kind of a profile view, it's got a good, I would say, 4 inches from top rack or top bar up here all the way down to the new one. The new Changli looks substantially smaller. In reality, it's not. You get inside, and I think it's roomier. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, and we'll showcase some of the legroom in the back and the front, but they managed somehow to shrink the outside profile, which I don't know what kind of magic they're doing there, while still keeping the interior relatively large. A couple of the major things here that we noticed right off the bat is a totally new front end. It's got a flat kind of almost bulldog face to it on this one, where this one slopes down a little bit. All my kids say this one is mean looking, and this one's really fun and nice. A brand new grille on the front end of these. I would say new lights throughout all of them. The lights on the old ones were pretty decent too, but they got rid of blue light on the headlights and on the roof rack light. And I think that's mainly because they know that in certain countries that they're exporting their product to, blue light on the road is illegal. It is considered to be mostly used for emergency vehicles, police, fire trucks, certain things like that. So on these ones, there is no blue lights, but they have retained the roof rack lights up top here. These are directional. They're on kind of a sliding channel here, and you can pivot them up and down how you see fit. The lights flip on and off just like normal on the other ones. Just like that guy. And man, they are cool. They're bright. You look at them directly head on and it's no joke. Down here the lights are pretty well structured. Got rid of the blue, have a little bit of purple, so there's some kind of funky cool color to it, which I love. And then they added these really dope, I would say, fog lights down here at the bottom. It looks more for aesthetics, but actually produces some decent light at night. And guys, this thing is pretty awesome. In the dark and all lit up at night, it looks pretty cool. New roof rack up top. They got rid of the massive kind of super cheap aluminum ones and went with this, I think, a little bit more sleek black aluminum. But take a look at this. They tightened up on a lot of quality between the old Changli and the new one. This just feels like a much nicer car, which is hilarious because for $900 from the factory, the price doesn't change between the two. They have legitimately done a full upgrade and the prices are exactly the same. Most noticeably, they changed a lot of the exterior on the back end of these cars. So I would say the glass is substantially smaller on this one because they have the spare tire pump that's back here. This is where the spare tire goes. And on the new version, they completely got rid of a back tailgate, which from a functionality standpoint, I use this mostly like around the neighborhood and throwing bikes in from the kids and that kind of stuff. It's really nice to have a back hatch that opens up. You lay down the seats, you fold it up, and now you've got a full trunk space that you can properly use. In fact, this blue Jeep of my son's died the other day. I tossed the whole blue Jeep in the back here just fine. On the new version, there's nothing. It is a straight, flush, almost sedan-like look with no trunk, and there is no latch that opens up. A lot of people have complained about that. Yeah, it sucks, but I also think that they're saving some decent money by doing so. And it provides, I think, a little bit sleeker, nicer look. Taillights are completely redone. This just looks more, I would say, modern, while this is kind of, I would say, very Chinese looking. I don't know if that makes sense at all. But I would say that between the two, I would pick this guy all day, every day on the back tail lights. They're rad. They're cool. You've got a third brake light up top here. Only works when the brake is applied. And tires and wheels are relatively the same. These ones are a little bit more slick, almost like road race tires. This one's a little bit more traction heavy. But for the most part, it's pretty solid. New version has, I think, a nicer backup camera too. The backup camera that's on the other one works just fine. I think the quality is nicer on this one. I haven't tested it at all, but looking at them side by side, they actually look pretty decent. Or this one's a little bit nicer, newer quality for the image that comes out the back here. Taking a look over here on this backside, here's the updated charging port. They got rid of 2 ports and just made it only into 1. It's still a little cheap, but it's a lot nicer than this one over here, which this one came the other way. So we need to flip with or mess with the spring in here to fix it. But I would say the major differences is it really just looks a lot cleaner, a lot nicer. They got rid of a lot of chrome on this. You had some aluminum bumpers and whatnot. And if you take a look at the front, we have had our fair share of fun with this Changli, man. It's been through a lot. But I would say, we pulled out trees with it. We've been doing power slides in it. But the front and rear bumpers are really cheap and not of great quality. You can see from just bending that right there, it's no bueno. This guy, however, is just sleek, clean, looks good, and no major, I would say, engineering flaws to take a look at. One thing to point out, you might notice it in the video, there's a crack right here. The container and how these sat in the container was right up against the container wall, and a few of them did get cracked. But like I said, we ordered 9. We are down to just a couple of them left over. These have been really popular with friends and family around the neighborhood here in Utah. They are street legal in Utah as a low-speed vehicle. I don't know about your state, but in Utah, it's pretty cool. So they've been picked up by friends and family pretty fast. On the new Changli, you've got a much nicer hood that pops open, stays open, opens all the way. This one, engineering-wise, is just not that great. The windshield wiper gets in the way. One major noticeable difference between the two is if you look in this one, you have no reservoir for brakes, which means they're not using kind of a hydraulic brake system. They are in here, and you've got a reservoir set up for brake fluid right here, ready to go. And it is 4 disc brakes all the way around, which is why I think it locks up and power slides so well. But it makes you feel like you have a lot more control over the vehicle when you're driving it, and especially coming to even not a screeching stop, but a gentle stop. Just feel like you have a lot more control. Driving this is a lot tighter, feels a lot more put together, and not only was the cosmetic upgrade, they went and I would say, re-engineered the vehicle to make it more of a mini car, I would say. This is much more of a glorified, odd, crazy Chinese golf cart. If you think of it like a golf cart, this thing's awesome and crazy and wild. This thing is much more like a mini car, like a straight mini car. Quality is still lacking and it's still bumpy and a little loud on the inside, a lot of plastic, but what do you expect? But the major difference between the two is, I would say, a huge upgrade on the engineering as well as the cosmetics. If you're interested in getting one of these, we import them into the United States. We do the duties, taxes, shipping, and get them all prepped and ready for you to enjoy. Check out our sister company, which is electricimportmotors.com. Pretty rad, and you can put a deposit down on one of these relatively easy. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure if you want more of this kind of car content on the Changlis and a bunch of other projects that we've got going on, make sure you like and subscribe.